Happy Hour, y'all. Happy Hour is a part of the family of shows on the podcast, itsneworleans.com. When you walk into a bar in New Orleans and pull up a bar stool, you never know who's going to be sitting on either side of you. What you do know is no matter what they look like, what they're wearing, whether they just got out of a limo or just got out of jail, it's going to be happy to talk to you because it's Happy Hour, and this is Happy Hour on itsneworleans.com. A cocktail-fueled 60 minutes of random conversation with folks who have nothing in common other than we're all in New Orleans in a bar. Today it's Wayfair on Ferret Street. Wayfair is a restaurant and bar serving handcrafted food and spirits where they put fine dining into a sandwich and fine booze into a glass. 3-hour happy hour every day from 4 to 7, Wayfair on Ferret Street. We've got 3 people around the bar today, or the table today. Kristin Shannon is currently the general manager of the Orpheum Theater. We also have AJ Allegra, who is the artistic director of the New Orleans project, NOLA project, that is, right? And I don't have a bio for Micah McKee, but I know Micah McKee fairly well, so I can make one up. Tell me how I do here, Micah. So Micah is a songwriter and has 2 regular gigs in New Orleans. One is Thursday night at the Blue Nile. One is Sunday night at the Circle Bar. He's the head front man of a band called Little Maker. What else?
You're doing good so far.
There's a record out. I don't want to say brand new record, but there's a record, called The Wheel. No, it's not called The Wheel. You decided not to call it The Wheel. That's right. It's called The Salty Seas We Used to Know.
There you
instead.
go. Yeah, you got it.
But I even knew the trivia, which was the name that you were going to name it, but decided not to.
You know me too well is the problem.
Right. So how is that record selling? Because from what I understand, you had a great show at French Quarter Fest.
It's doing great.
And you ran out of records.
It's doing great. We're doing great. I'm super excited about it. People like it. It's doing awesome. I'm happy to be here with you guys, AJ and Kristin.
And I believe that
this is really fun.
It's fun every time.
Yeah.
The free beer usually helps a lot.
I like free beer.
Yeah.
What are you drinking, AJ?
I'm drinking something called Yellow Pills.
But who's that by?
I do not know, but the bartender
Oscar
gave
Blues
me
guys,
the recommendation. I think I've had cans of it at Parasols.
That's right. It's the Oscar Blues guys, the same guys that make Dale's Pale Ale.
Oh, the Dale's.
Very good.
I like that stuff. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Good. Excellent stuff.
I'm drinking this Lagunitas IPA, which I love. I got to give a shout out to Lagunitas because they actually sponsor the NPR Tiny Desk
That's right.
shows, which is awesome, which is a great, amazing thing to do.
Yeah, as well as several music entities. They do the van that does the Jam in the Van. I don't know if you guys have seen videos. So that's a RV that goes all across America. I don't think that they've made it overseas yet, but
the owner's I'm sorry.
No, they go all across America and they stop at Bonnaroo and Coachella and festivals and the Super Bowl and just get bands to come on. Usually notable bands, or at least bands that are playing these festivals.
Well, the owner's a musician at heart, so he's like, he loves music.
Right.
So his whole thing was like, okay, I started a brewery. Okay, big deal. Everyone drinks beer, but like, I want to do something really cool with the money I'm making off this beer, and he does music stuff, which is really awesome.
Right, so they've gotten a sponsorship, and now, I guess the way that their business model works, and we can get off the Jam in the Van thing after this, but they put all this content on YouTube, and eventually when you have enough content that's getting maybe 100,000 views a week, now you're starting to make a buck just from YouTube views, I think.
It's really amazing.
Something like that. Pretty impressive. But Kristin, I had a question for you or maybe it's more of a point of similarity here, commonality. I know, AJ, you're the artistic director of the NOLA project, and Kristin, you are the leading producer. You are the general manager of the Orpheum Theater, right? And
leading producer.
And leading producer, right?
Of everything.
Didn't the Orpheum just host the Big Easy Awards?
We did, for Gambit.
I didn't get to go, but I did hear that this is the first time that the music and the theater awards were on the same night. Is that true?
It was, yeah.
That's pretty cool.
It was a great crowd.
Did you go to that, AJ?
I did. I lost my 16th consecutive Big Easy Award.
No.
I'm like a little bit like the Susan Lucci. Well, I won 2. I won 2 back in 2007 and 8, but since then it's been
you've been nominated for a Big Easy Award 16 times?
Yes.
That's amazing.
That's awesome, man.
That's incredible. That really is.
Or 16 different nominations. Is it for the
16
one
different things.
Categories,
Oh,
really?
okay.
Yeah.
Oh, that's crazy. That's even cooler.
I'm very proud of this fact, but I have grown accustomed to losing, And
You're a very multifaceted loser.
yeah,
That's
yeah.
really
I've lost in
impressive.
directing, writing, acting, supporting acting.
You're a Renaissance loser.
Yeah,
Losing
Renaissance
jack of all
loser.
trades.
Yeah.
Amazing.
If I had
love that.
known
It's
that
amazing.
night, I would have bought you a drink. I feel terrible.
Well, it was an open bar, so
Yes, it was. That's true.
I appreciate it though.
Next
deal.
time.
Next
What
time.
were
There's
you nominated that you lost for?
Oh, this year, best supporting actor in a play and best leading actor in a play.
Do they do the thing like at the Oscars where they'll show you a clip and then everybody claps for you and you get a little nervous?
No, I wish. God,
That would
I
be
wish.
cool.
I think that would would have swayed voters in the past. You know, be like, oh, you know, maybe we should give this guy a chance. Now that we've seen the clip.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah, right.
if it makes you feel better, I have never been nominated for one. Not a single one.
Not of the
It's a
big.
travesty.
What about the Offbeat Awards?
No, I've
That's
never
crazy.
been. Yeah, it's.
Have you guys
It's
seen
pretty
Michael's
cool.
play before?
Yes, I have.
Yeah.
No, I haven't.
I just, maybe you were in
I'm
the
planning
office
to.
or something whenever I was playing. I think 'cause we did
No,
an
I
Orpheum
didn't.
thing.
Right, I didn't go that
But
night.
you weren't- you weren't there
I'm
that
usually
night.
there every
Okay,
night
yeah.
and every day.
Okay,
but
so
I
you
wasn't
weren't there
for that
night.
one
Okay,
particular night.
Yeah. It was beautiful though. The Orpheum is amazing. right now.
Absolutely.
It is absolutely incredible.
I had the supreme privilege to I do some acting work with the LPO, and I do their kids concerts, and we do a few of those in the Orpheum every year, and they give us the dressing room, like the star dressing room. It's up
Sure.
like 5 flights of stairs, but it's gorgeous. It's like
It
a small
is.
apartment.
It is. It didn't used to be. Little known fact, I sang in the symphony chorus of New Orleans when I moved here.
Ooh,
and
that's nice.
we
Nice.
performed in the Orpheum. So long before I had this job, I know what it was like pre-Katrina, and the dressing rooms were not as nice, that's for sure. But we had lockers in the basement, and the symphony chorus. We did Handel's Messiah, and it didn't. I mean, it was a beautiful theater at the time. It definitely had a certain look and feel, very old world, and sounded great. The acoustics are wonderful in the space.
It is.
But a fresh coat of paint on that place, I tell you, has really brought it back to some splendid looking and stunning environment.
The last time that I was there was for Alan Toussaint's funeral. That was a hero of mine. You know, one that when I heard the funeral was open to the public, there was no question. I had to at least go and see what was going on, and maybe the line was too long. I didn't know what would happen, but I got in line, and sure enough, one of the guys who was pulling detail on the line was a friend who kind of let me into a back door, and I got a spot on the first tier loge level, I might call it, and great seat to just see some of New Orleans' finest sing their hearts out for their fallen hero. You know, in fact, the first person who performed was guitar player. I think he calls himself Reverend or oh shucks.
The first one?
Yeah, I think it was the first guy.
I'm trying to remember the lineup, the run of show.
Shucks. Anyway, it less than lauded for his vocals. He's a guitar player. He played guitar on all the old
Sure.
Toussaint hits. But to see him go up there and still be broken in his delivery of his, just salutation and Alan, this one's for you, but still kind of cracking voice and
Sure.
that was a tough
Boz
one.
Skaggs
Yeah.
was amazing singing and did one of my favorite Alan Toussaint songs. And then, an old friend, Breeze Kyle, who came in from Memphis playing the clarinet
Oh,
a
was that
cappella.
beautiful.
I mean,
Man.
just everyone's renditions were so heartfelt and
yeah.
so moving. And, we actually, we talk a lot about that experience because it's really the first funeral, for me to put on. And it was
I
difficult.
imagine you don't put on
it
many,
It
but-
was difficult for everyone. And Quint Davis, a friend, Reggie Toussaint, very good friend of mine. We really all came together and did it for him and the family. And Alan was so deserving of a tribute like that.
Absolutely.
So I really wouldn't have settled
and
for
many
anything
more,
less.
and many more,
Yeah.
and many more tributes. I hope, the guy was such an important. I had this amazing memory of him. I never truly met him, but I have this amazing memory of him where I was. My buddy owned a coffee shop on Magazine Street, and he had a T Model Ford, 1919 T Model Ford. Brought it down from Michigan. And I was like, he brought it back down. I was like, man, you got to give me a ride in this T Model Ford. And I was on my way to a gig. I was on my way to my Circle Bar gig. Every Sunday I do a Circle Bar gig. And And I had my guitar with me, and I was like, you mind if I, put the guitar in the back and go for a ride? And we went for a ride, and before we went for a ride, we were actually parked in front of Alan Toussaint's car that I guess was a Rolls Royce.
Rolls-Royce,
Yeah. And it's just sparkly and shiny. He was coming out of Aiden Gill, and he had this glow. He just
sure. He was so debonair.
and just glowing.
What a gentleman.
I have never met someone that was just like so just shiny. It's so glowing. And I put my guitar in the back, and then I do a double take, and I realize it's Alan Toussaint, and he tips his hat, and I tip mine, and that's my meeting of Alan Toussaint. It was just the coolest thing that ever happened to me. It's like, oh my God, like you're the coolest guy ever. We don't even have to exchange words. You're that cool.
He touched people for sure with his music and with his he was very respectful and very wonderful to people. He had a big heart. And speaking of tributes, that experience really got us to talking about other New Orleans legends and how we can take advantage of the time we have them still to pay tribute to them. And I don't know if you guys watched James Beard Awards the other night. We had a lot of big wins. Alon Shia,
Very
Justin
exciting.
DeVilliers, good friends of mine, very proud of. But Leah Chase, I mean, what a legend and what a spectacular woman.
Absolutely.
We are thinking in September we're going to pay tribute to Fats Domino.
Beautiful.
Cool.
And so, why not have someone sit there and appreciate all these other musicians, fellow musicians they've worked with over the years, and do a similar format and have them sing to this person while they're still around.
While they're
Hey,
still
guess
around.
what? You've inspired me, and I want you to know about it. And really try and make that a continuous thing at the Orpheum.
I love that.
That's a beautiful idea because there was a thing like that for Willie Nelson recently on a national scale, and the president was there, and it was in D.C. and
Kennedy Center Honors.
Kennedy Center Honors.
It's one of my favorites.
And Willie's sitting there, and then all these people are playing his songs, and and Willie, they were about to kill this guy. He was just in tears, you know what I mean? But it was just beautiful. He and his wife were sitting there, and he was just like, wow, guys, like, you really like my music this much? This is really cool, and like, what a great idea to put on a tribute show for someone who's still around,
Well, and there's so many songs in the repertoire. I mean,
absolutely.
You have your album out, but, I recently had Chick Corea. How many albums do you think that man has been on?
You
Hundreds.
You can't count. And it's like, he probably can't. He doesn't know.
Yeah.
Like, that's the kind of thing it is.
If you want to have a fun night, go start Googling how many albums certain musicians have made and look at the number.
How many songs
or
Alan
they've even
Toussaint
just played
wrote.
on.
Yeah.
It's pretty extensive.
And it's not lost on it wasn't. I don't think it was lost on anybody after the performances were had at Alan's service, and then things got somber and back to the funeral setting, and his coffin is being let out, and you can hear his family sobbing, downstairs,
God.
and you remember that this is a choice that they made to make this public, to allow these people who didn't know him personally to be a part of this service, and that takes a lot of heart and a lot of selflessness to do that, to not let that moment be a private moment, but rather share it with New
A lot of
Orleans.
strength.
Sure.
A lot of will.
strength,
Yeah.
And that was special. That's certainly the most special thing that I saw as in terms of a performance this year was that. And I gotta think of that guy's name who sung first.
I wish I could remember, but
I'm
there's
gonna
been so
come
many
up with it before
shows. In fact, we're just recovering from Jazz Fest shows, which started a little later than I'm used to. So I'm still trying to rest up.
I mean, that was, Jazz Fest is always like a hammer to the head,
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
great. It was great. It was like the Orpheum coming back and having our first big post Jazz Fest night of shows.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Had a lot of fun. Had Galactic, The Roots, which was great.
Yeah.
Lots of special guests. The original Meters,
That's cool.
Grace Potter, Warren Haynes, Trauma and Shorty all came by to sit in with them.
Wow.
And people were just, they haven't played together on stage since 2012, I
That is
think.
absolutely
so
nuts. That's
just,
absolutely nuts.
and then to be at Jazz Fest for the Red Hot Chili Peppers and see
How are they doing?
George
How are they
Porter
doing
Jr.
these days?
come out and play with Flea.
Oh my God, did
and
that happen?
yes, and it was pretty incredible. It was
What?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
That's what I love. I love the idea that, like, you get all these different musicians collaborating on stage together.
Also,
like,
George Porter, Flea, two nicest guys ever met.
and they pick
Like,
each other.
super-
They seek each other out.
Super nice.
Well, sure.
Super cool.
And they're
like-
going, you've inspired me, but then back at you.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
hey, let's do this together because,
Oh,
we're
yeah.
from two different generations,
Totally cool.
two different backgrounds.
Yeah.
And I love those moments at Jazz Fest and at the Orpheum and anything else, when you see a bunch of people get on stage who maybe don't normally perform together and then they're just vibing off each other.
Who played at the Orpheum the night that it got rained out? What was that, Saturday, the second Saturday? Who was that?
That was Galactic.
Galactic, yeah. I'm sure that show was insane. I
Yeah.
mean, everybody's just leaving the festival thinking to themselves,
What
they've
a-
got a whole lot of pent-up energy, that didn't
Yeah,
get
yeah.
expended at
Yeah.
the festival itself.
Yeah.
That was
yeah.
a shame.
Yeah, that sold out the weekend before. The Revivalist really brought a great show.
Oh, they're great, man.
They really, and they've been getting a lot of traction. And then, it was really good 2 weekends. We had a great run.
That's awesome.
That's awesome.
And then Lamb of God last night.
Really?
Yeah. And we had so many people commenting. It was the best crowd, really the best crowd. They were so happy to be there, so cooperative. And it was funny to see, like, the Orpheum in its grandeur and this kind of beauty, and then this
And
just
this
heavy
metal band, dude,
yeah,
yeah.
just killing it on stage.
Whoa.
It was pretty fun. Actually, I really enjoyed it.
One of my great experiences of the Orpheum was right before Katrina. I think it was 2004. Seeing the Mars Volta there, who are really heavy, man, like really heavy rock band, and it just sounded amazing, and it's one of those weird things about the Orpheum. It's just the acoustics in that place are incredible, and you mentioned how the pre-Katrina and post-Katrina Orpheum are quite different in terms of, like, you guys really upped the game. But what you kept is all of the original flavor, all the original charm, and, of course, all of the original acoustic elements.
Integrity.
That made the Orpheum
It was a very
great,
careful consideration, for sure.
And there are a lot of clubs that have been refurbished, and they will remain nameless, but they haven't necessarily kept true to their original, status. And it was really refreshing, to step on that stage and just be like, I think I'm going to need more vocals in this. And sound guy's like, maybe not. And you start singing, you're like, oh my God, like,
What?
my microphone's
So
barely
it's quite
on.
a
This
thing
is
to look out
incredible.
there. Now, did you get up to the stage to look out?
Oh, we were
to
on the stage, yeah.
So, I mean, what a view. It
Yeah,
really is, like, kind of an incredible for the artist to look out
It's
and
incredible.
see the beauty of the
What's
ceiling.
nice is that it's not a
and-
deep house. It's quite different than the Sanger in that it doesn't have a immense depth to it, but it has a great height, and so the sound travels in a circular way much better than at a place like
It's
the Sanger,
beautiful.
which just goes out and down.
It's beautiful. It's like if you ever use a milk pitcher on an espresso machine, it's like that spinning motion you get out of good frothed milk. It's like that's the kind of thing that happens. And acoustically, it's just beautiful. It's really, really lovely.
I am going to come get coffee from you.
There you
It's
go.
like,
Yeah,
wow.
yeah,
So that's talking
reality.
about frothed milk.
Yeah.
Let's
Bringing
take it
all.
to what I really want to see more of in the Orpheum, and as I produce content and get these acts in, I want to see some plays. What do you think? There's 1,500 people that can fill a house for a play in this town, and what would it be? Just give me, like an idea, quick, off the top of your head.
Macbeth.
Oh,
Then
man.
you would be the star, of course.
No, I don't know. I'd
We would get you
produce
your
it.
first Big Easy Award.
There we go.
Win.
Well, no, I think that the challenge right now with theater in the city is that there is a great amount of it going on. However, it's generally a smaller scale thing. The theater in this town happens at a little bit smaller scale, and so houses like Orpheum and Sanger and Joy are great to have, but they're also intimidatingly large for a producer to think about filling the entire space of that. And but I do think that there's an opportunity to present theater in those spaces. I think it's just in the matter of the way that I think about, like the Oakland football stadium when they have baseball games and they close off, the balcony. We can create intimate settings in large scale environments in a unique way. But the other challenge is also that a lot of these big houses that we have in the city are so used to in and out. Mm-hmm. That is the modus operandi for music houses. You come in, you perform, you go out, you take your stuff with you. Theater is so it has a great amount of permanence to it that often scares producers of, oh, wait a second, now you're building a set on the stage and the set's going to be here for 4 weeks. Well, that doesn't work. We have a wedding on Saturday. So, but the NOLA project, we actually have had a lot of experience in being a more lightweight company. So I do think that we would be a great tenant to try something in the Orpheum, because we do shows, like right now we're opening a show in the Sculpture Garden at NOMA, and that's a perfect example.
I saw pictures of that. And
of a
it
show
looks
that
incredible.
goes up, and then at the end of the show every night it disappears as if it never was there.
What show is that?
We have a new adaptation of Don Quixote.
Oh, beautiful.
Yeah,
Yes.
I saw on Facebook a beautiful picture of
It's
how
very
it looks.
exciting. And it's starring Ian Hoke and Mike Spera, who are, two personalities that have, they're hysterical actors, but they travel in a lot of different circles in the city.
Okay.
Both of them perform a lot of improv.
Any relation to Keith Spare?
I don't think so.
No. Okay.
I don't think so, but because isn't Keith Spera? He's from here.
He's
right?
from here. Yeah.
No, Mike is a transplant.
Oh, okay.
But they're both hilarious actors, and they're playing, Don Quixote and Sancho Panza.
Oh, my goodness.
It's a great setting to have. You don't need a set outside in some locations, like in the NOMA Sculpture Garden. It just
When is that opening?
tonight, but I'm not sure when this airs.
Well,
but
just
it
pray for
runs
no
from May
rain.
4th through the 22nd.
Holy
I'm
cow.
done with
2016.
rain. Let's just not
2016.
get rain.
For those listening to Archival.
And are you acting in Don Quixote, or are you?
I'm not. I'm just overseeing this production.
Gotcha.
But there are talented enough actors filling out the cast. They don't need my help.
I did see in your laundry list of productions that you have either worked on or been a part of. One in particular that was written by you. Is that what I saw?
That's right. That's
It
right.
is the Oregon Trail, the play. That's awesome, because
That's right.
when I was in, computer class in elementary school, there were two things that were life, lessons that I learned. Which one was typing, and I think the other was how to ford a river
Yeah, and not die of
and
dysentery.
not die of dysentery. Right.
Exactly.
That's amazing.
I remember reading about that production, and the reaction was the same that I just had, which was just laughter. I was just like, oh my God, this is amazing.
It's a fun show. It's been, I wrote it when I was being sexiled in college.
Yeah.
Y'all remember what that was like? When your roommate was getting a lot of action,
And
then
you're not-
you
you're
were not
just,
allowed.
like,
You
you're
were
just
not
hanging out.
allowed in the room.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
I would sit out in the hallway, to the sounds of gentle lovemaking.
Yeah.
And I was writing the theatrical adaptation of the video game
Yeah.
as I was playing it on my computer, and it turned out to be a lot of fun. And so we produced it in college, and then the NOLA project produced it again here in 2012. And then since then, it's been produced in Las Vegas, and it's been produced at a couple of universities, at Notre Dame University, at
That's
American
great.
University.
That's pretty cool.
And it's going to be published by Alligator Pear Press, which is a local publisher. So it's going to be published this year. So
That's
Nice.
pretty
it'll
cool.
be a fun read, even if you didn't get to see it.
Can I ask you something?
Yeah.
What advice would you give someone that wants to get into theater, that wants to be into theater, but just hasn't really made the leap? Like, what advice would you give that person? How would you get that person in the theater?
Go drink with the actors.
Oh, that's good.
Nice.
That's
That
good
seriously
advice.
is the best piece of advice I can offer. And I guess it's a very New Orleans advice, which is people say all the time, "Can I have a coffee with you?" And I say, "A beer would be better."
A beer would be better.
Because it is just anywhere in America, it is just part of the theatrical life of you do your show, you're riding high, it's 10:30, 11 p.m., we're going out for beer.
You need a beer. Yeah.
And that is the time at which a lot of deals are struck. That's a lot of time, a lot of great ideas are established. And I think that just hanging out with with theater people is, especially in this city, because it's a very tight community, and I think that can be intimidating for people.
I think
but
it
it's
is.
also very
Yeah.
welcoming, and I
Yeah.
think that people find that that's a surprise to them, and so I would just say, go out with the actors. You know,
Yeah.
Wits Inn on Carrollton is a sports bar that
I've seen you guys
that
there.
has oddly become this like theatrical hub. On
That's good.
virtually
See, I need-
every night you can go there and bet you can find yourself in a production.
I need to know more about these spots.
Yes.
You know, like so I can just crush these theater parties.
Wits Inn Lost Love Lounge
Ooh, okay.
is where a lot of the downtown companies I know go and hang out.
Cool.
It's not really an uptown bar that I can think of, but
When you say downtown companies, who are the downtown companies?
well, the downtown companies nowadays would be. Well, when NOLA Project was first formed, we were considered hip in downtown. Now we're the man or the establishment. But
Right.
downtown companies would be like Cripple Creek Theater, Goat in the Road. Definitely, it's one of my favorite theater companies. They do some really innovative work. Skin Horse Theater,
Skin Horse, yeah. Veronica
Veronica
and Nat.
Hunsinger Lowe and
Yeah,
Nat,
yeah.
Evan Spiegelman.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of the work that's being done in that St. Claude corridor, and a lot of the times it's independently produced. There's a great company, Lux at Umbra, that has been doing some really good shows in the past year. So anything that's really produced in that St. Claude corridor, I would say, is pretty hip and pretty fresh and pretty small in scale, but powerful stuff.
And this is mutually exclusive to the popularity of improv that's happening these days, yeah? These are different things, different entities.
Yeah, the improv and the comedy world and the theater world are a bit separate, but I personally would love to see them be more formed together. I mean, certainly a play like Oregon Trail.
Yeah.
I wrote it to be. I designed it to be performed in places like Second City. You know, where I grew up in Chicago,
Sure.
and Second City
Sure.
is a sketch comedy venue that does improv, but they also produce theater that is
Yeah.
kind of a smaller scale type of theater. And so I really hope that the people involved with new movements and you know, even up here in Ferret, the La Nuit Theater, I hope that there's continues to be more crossover in terms of the improv and theater world.
Nice. Kristin, I have a question for you. I was reading more of your bio, and it seems that you were partnered with Chef Emeril Lagasse for as the founding executive director of his Emeril Lagasse Foundation. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's no longer a position you hold. No.
I was there 11 years.
Nice.
I left and started on the Orpheum right away.
Did you come here for that, or did you find that when you got here?
No, I lived in New York, and about 6 months in, met my husband at the Village Idiot on 14th Street. and had a lot of Virginia connections. I went to William & Mary, and he was from here, and we met, and he wanted to come back, and I wanted a change. So I worked in TV, and I got to know the marketing director at the Food Network. So when I moved here, I asked her to just help me.
Yeah.
You know, it was all about connecting with people and networking. And I don't know, when I was out of school, it was a totally different time, but it was like pay your dues and talk to whoever you know, and then go have lunch with them, go have coffee with them, like just network. So I eventually found my way into a great situation with Emeril, and had a lot of fun doing that over the years.
What was that all about? What was the Lagasse Foundation doing?
So I would produce events, so really a lot of production work, which is what I wanted to move more into, and produce a wine auction called Carnival de Vin, and Boudin Bourbon and Beer Festival. Started that. So just combining music and food and chefs and talented people with creative ideas to help fundraise. And we'd raise a lot of money, and Emeril is a very charitable guy who was really fun, and it was a great ride. And now I'm into producing more, so doing a lot more. But the owner of the Orpheum Theater also owns Tipitina's and started Tipitina's Foundation.
Yeah.
So that rewarding piece of having that work for charity and starting up great programs and funding great programs is now still a part of what I do in my new position for the owners of the Orpheum. And that tribute to Fats Domino I talked about is really going to be a benefit concert for Tipitina's Foundation, which does great work for young
They really
people.
do. Yeah.
And it's really all about, I mean, at the end of the day, I have 2 young boys. It's giving back, and it's making sure that we're nurturing a younger, up-and-coming generation of talented and creative people so they
Certainly.
can carry on the torch.
Now, one thing I was curious about, I've always been curious about this. So you know Emerald pretty well. I've always wondered, is he a pool player? Does he play pool? Does he play games?
I've never seen him play pool.
Okay. Does he play games?
He likes golf.
Okay, golf. Okay.
He's into fishing now.
Okay.
But pool, I never once saw him play pool. It's funny that you ask because that's how I met my husband at the Village Idiot.
Playing pool?
Yeah,
Crazy.
He told me he was really good. And
Was it
he
true?
was terrible.
There we go.
And I was like
Village
putting
idiots.
money down. I mean, I was ready to hustle some humongous bikers. And he's like, I'm the best, baby. Like that New Orleans talk. I was like, so
This is the
no.
confidence that attracted
He wasn't
you.
good.
Yeah,
He
yeah.
wasn't.
Wow.
He's good at a lot of other things, though. He is great,
Yeah, I'm
but
sure.
not at pool. That's a
Well,
X.
the reason I asked is because I just imagine Emerald landing an amazing shot and going bam every time, like every time, you know. And it always just like I was like, oh man, that would be so cool if I was like playing Emerald.
If he's a
and
golfer, every
Maybe
time
when he
sinks
sinks a
putt.
long putt.
yeah, it sinks a long putt. It's like bam.
I think
and
even the
like,
short putts. Yeah.
He is.
bam, especially the short putt.
The gimmies.
He's like the easiest
gimmies.
going guy. You know, he didn't set out for the path he ended up on, and he's done great with it. I think the BAM really started as a little side thing
Oh,
he
yeah.
was trying to wake up his camera guy. He kept falling asleep.
Wow.
Totes.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Wow.
They were
That is
filming
awesome.
back to back because he worked in the restaurants. He'd fly up to New York for like a day, and then his guys would all be like over and over the same cooking show, you know,
And just tired.
and they were just falling asleep, and he'd just try and joke them like,
Oh, my
"Hey, how can I wake this guy up?"
Goodness, that's amazing. That's
Yeah.
the coolest thing I've ever heard. That's
So when
so
I start
cool.
falling asleep
like
in
the
a little
interesting
bit
fact
for
of
my
the
afternoon
podcast.
wine, you guys
It
can
is.
yell
Bam.
"damn" at me.
Yeah.
Bam.
Gotcha.
That's really fucking cool.
You know, I have to admit something to you guys. Emerald's is one of a long list of very nice restaurants in New Orleans that I've never been to. I feel like I have
Wow.
this deficit of restaurants. Great, there's so many great restaurants in New Orleans,
Do
right?
you have any of his books?
No.
Man, you got to get his books.
Recipes, you mean?
Yeah.
I have never eaten at Emerald's. I've drank at Emerald's,
Do you
but
guys
I've
cook?
eaten at Nola.
Yeah,
which
I
is
cook all the
excellent.
time.
You cook?
I love to cook.
I cook
yeah.
all the time. I cook.
I cook badly, but I attempt it.
People call
Are
me
you from
cliche-
here?
No, I'm from Chicago.
Oh, okay.
People call me
Well, you can't
cliche,
cook.
but I
Chicago.
cook. I cook Emerald stuff. I have his books, and I have John Besh, and amazing books, and great for the home. I mean, I'd say what you will. Emerald's recipe for jambalaya is like the recipe. It is
See,
amazing.
I just don't have time. Like, I would love to cook these things. I really would. But
You don't have time
I
to cook.
don't
what
have time
What
to
are your kids
cook.
doing? Or are they
My
just
husband
like?
cooks.
Oh, okay.
We're
okay.
a very non-traditional, a lot of us.
Okay, that's cool.
But
No,
he's a
that's cool.
great chef. I only want to eat his food.
Okay, cool. So
And,
he cooks for the kids.
Yeah,
you
and the
just-
boys love it. I mean,
you
every
just hang
once in a
out?
while I try, and then he's usually like, "Well, that was
That was
okay,
something."
honey,"
But
but
I really.
but we love to go out to eat. I mean, I would say like right now I've got a few favorite places, and talking
Let's
about
hear.
the Ace Hotel earlier, I love that restaurant,
Josephine Estelle. Oh my goodness, yeah.
I think those guys, Andrew, Michael,
Oh,
combo
they-
of their names are quite talented.
Amazing dudes, and amazing food. The Hush Puppies are.
I didn't get a hush puppy last
they are
time.
amongst the best Hush Puppies. One thing I learned is that not everyone knows what a Hush Puppy is. This
What
a-
is a hush puppy?
This is corn.
It's a quiet dog, isn't it? sorry, that's a bad
Oh
joke.
man! It's fried cornmeal.
Corn, like cornmeal. Yeah.
fried cornmeal.
Hush puppies are good.
They're
Oh, yeah.
really good, and they serve it with this like Creole mustard
Okay.
sauce.
Okay.
And it's not Creole mustard; it's a sauce, but it's based around the ideas of Creole, and it is
I'm for it.
It is very good. It is.
Cool. What about you guys? Do you got a favorite place to eat?
You know what I've been rocking lately is Cafe Lebanon Cafe Lebanon, I think it's called.
Nice.
Cafe
Yeah.
Lebanon. So, you know, on Carrollton, have you guys been there?
Are you
Yes.
kidding?
Mediterranean. Yeah, I mean,
Yes.
I know it's tried and true, but I think lately I've been maybe twice in the past month. Better than it ever was. I don't know what they did.
Are you kidding?
Yes.
Wow.
No,
you're
I'm not
not.
kidding.
You're not. No. No. This
Not
is
kidding.
real.
But you know what we have to do right now, guys? We can get right back to this, but I have to announce some commercials.
Cool.
And Micah, do you think you could grab your guitar and play some lovely commercial music while I do this?
I think I can do that
Just something that feels, I don't know, commercial.
commercially.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or maybe like
Soft and unobtrusive.
not, or maybe ironically not commercially.
Can I beatbox? No,
Sure.
I'm just kidding.
No, you're welcome
No,
to. Absolutely.
Really. It's probably your neck of the woods.
Slightly.
That's nice, Mike. Thank you. Well, today, Happy Hour is brought to you by Basic Swim and Gym, a full range of fashion, swimsuits, workout, and yoga clothes with style. Basic Swim and Gym is on Magazine Street near Jefferson Avenue. Also by Hangover Destroyer, the only all-natural product medically proven to prevent a hangover. Go to the Hangover Destroyer website. Yeah, I don't know. Write Happy Hour and coupon code and get 30% off Hangover Destroyer and Seize the Dawn.
Did you see our looks of doubt?
I did happen to see your looks of doubt.
I don't
yes.
know about
But
that.
hey, you got to try it yourself, give it a shot. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that is all of our commercials today, it looks like. So, Micah, now you can turn the commercial song into a song of your own if you'd like. Or you could just play a song of your own, probably be a
Okay.
better idea.
All right, sure.
Micah McKee, ladies and gentlemen.
Okay, so I'm gonna play a song. This is half step down. This is half step down?
Probably it
Okay,
is, yeah.
That's great. That's wonderful. This song is a song that I'm working out right now. Still kind of figuring it out. It's about how my dream is to write songs for Taylor Swift.
Oh, that's nice.
She's cute.
She's beautiful.
She is beautiful.
And she's so talented. And she just really has it all.
Taylor, if you're out there, this one's for you.
This one's for you, buddy. This one's for you. I've played this on the air on several stations a few times, just wanting, just be like, just be tuning in.
This is it, dude.
This is it. This is the moment. I caught a little glory floating in the breeze. Wanna taste the sunlight before they bury me. I catch a little lightning whenever I can. But all I've got is these broken bottles in my hand. It's thicker than water, thinner than blood. You know it's bigger than the both of us. It's thicker than water, thinner than blood. What are we gonna do when we've had enough? You know I must be losing view, 'cause I must be losing you. 'Cause I'm legless on the battlefield, shot down by the living. I'm a soldier with a gun full of honey. So I could make my living writing love songs for some young teenage queen to sing. Yes, I drown in all my millions, but then I'd still come up to breathe. When it's thicker than water, thinner than blood, you know it's bigger than the both of us. Thicker than water, thinner than blood. What are we gonna do when we've had enough? You know I must be losing view, 'cause I must be losing you. Yes, I'm legless on the battlefield, shot down by the living. I'm a soldier with a gun full of honey.
Yeah.
Very nice.
All right.
Looks like we have a call on line 2. It's a Swift taking it now. Yes.
Taylor, how you doing?
Hey, I really like
How you doing, Taylor?
that. Was great.
That song's for you,
I don't
buddy.
think Taylor sounds like that.
Song's for you, buddy.
I was actually thinking we should enact like this scene to your song.
That would be kind of
you know,
cool.
I mean, I was
you're an
in
actor.
theater in high school and college.
You run a theater.
I mean, I know I'm kind of old for plays now, right? I mean, do you have any mom roles for anybody?
You want to be in theater? You're too old.
It's always mom
How old are
roles.
you
That's
again?
that's very not encouraging because A, you're not old.
No.
B, like what does that mean for musicians?
Well, I guess I
I'm
haven't
like,
acted since
really-
high school, though. That was a long time ago.
okay.
Might be a little rusty, but
I mean, I could
Yeah.
pick it back up. I could
course.
play Taylor
Is it
Swift.
like riding a bicycle, AJ?
Hey,
you
I
just
could play
need a
Taylor
good
Swift.
imagination. And it's surprising
No,
how few
everyone
people
else
do.
needs a good imagination. If I'm going to try and play Taylor Swift, they need to believe that that is possible.
I could totally, and don't take this the wrong way. I could totally see you playing a Taylor Swift after all the dust has settled, and after all of the games, silly games that she's been playing, and she gets a little bit older, and she's got like confidence and like time under her
Some
belt,
wisdom.
some wisdom. You
Some
know,
seasoned-
that record is going to be awesome.
Yeah.
And
that's
I could
true.
totally see you making that record or playing the person that made that record. I could see that happening.
She's going to
Okay.
be a Carole
All
King, yeah. One of these days, right? Carole King, like Tapestry, that kind of record. you
Yeah.
know? Just sitting with her cat.
Man, that
Listen,
record is going to be
don't
awesome.
get me started on Carole King.
I won't get you. Let's not get started.
I mean, back to Kennedy Center Honors.
Oh, man.
Did
That
you
was
all
a good
see the
one. I
one
didn't see that.
and Aretha Franklin just killing
Freaking
it.
believable.
I
Yeah.
watch it and just bawl crying.
That was the one where
yeah.
that was the one where she stood up and dropped the fur.
Yeah, she did. It's the inspiration behind the tribute to Fats Domino. I will be completely honest. I'm producing
That's
it.
amazing.
And that's what
That's
I
a
got
good
my-
inspiration to have.
That's what I got my inspiration from.
That's amazing.
I want musical moments like that.
Yeah.
And I'm sure, I mean, they happen in plays. They happen in just what work creative people are willing to share with us.
Speaking of actors and plays, you know, and now thinking about, well, you know, there's 5-tool prospects in sports. When you're an actor, if you can't sing, is that pretty bad, or you know, just you need a
Can you sing? Sing a song.
Yeah, I can carry a tune.
yeah.
But
Where do you take it?
Where do
If you carry it.
Where,
All the way
that was
to
about as
take
good
the
as
tune.
my
all the way to
quiet
the
dog.
bank, buddy.
Can we post in some cymbal hits, please?
Dun-dun-dun.
No, I think that. Well, I think that, you know, I think that being musical in some way is always going to help actors.
Right.
I teach theater as well, and I always tell the kids, say it doesn't matter if you sing. Learn an instrument, though.
Yeah,
Really learn
Yeah,
an
nice.
instrument. You know,
Yeah.
I play the violin, and I play enough.
I didn't know that. That's
Tiny
wonderful.
The,
Or the middle size or the tiny,
the regular
smallest?
one.
Oh, okay.
Although I play the tiny one for people I feel sorry for. But you know, I think that's a key. There's so much theater nowadays that you know, right off the bat, and it's really an economical thing because producers are going to try and save money by saying, well, why don't we get the actor that can play and accompany himself or herself? So yeah, that's what I would say. You don't have to sing, but I do think you should be musical.
Yeah.
You
Gotta
should be
dance
musical
something.
in some way.
Gotta dance. Yeah. Well, I love theater. Partially though because the kind of theater that I like, and I'm kind of a lay person in terms of theater, but I do really love Shakespeare, and I really enjoy
My expertise.
Oh, is it really?
Yeah.
Oh, so what I really love is all of the new renditions of Shakespeare that have been coming out and been hitting the stage. I think Skinhorse did a Macbeth,
They did.
and I missed it. I was out of town, and that's sad because Macbeth is, I think, my favorite of the Shakespeare plays. What is your favorite? Is the question that I was going to ask.
Man, that's a hard one.
Let's do tragedy.
Well, let me stir
That's
this
a
pot.
famous shrew.
I'm off the bios. I like the free flow of conversation instead of bios, but I will mention this. It's under AJ's bio that I did not read. He holds a BFA from New York University Tisch School of Arts and a Shakespeare certification from the Royal Academy of Dramatic Arts in London.
Okay, so
Whoa.
I didn't do my homework. I'm
So,
sorry.
hey, you know, the
RADA.
guy's qualified. What do you got to say?
Well, so I want to know though, if you are so Shakespearean, do you choose?
That's not necessarily a good thing.
Go
Do you
forth, lady.
choose? I want to know. I'm interested to hear your answer because do you choose? They're like the mainstream, the one that everyone would go for, like the Macbeth, the Romeo Juliet, or are you going to go totally obscure because you know, I mean, like, is this something
gonna go
where
deep cut or
is there
something.
Shakespeare that we
B-side.
need to be taught right now?
I think that as a producer, we try it. I try and find Shakespeare that is that's palatable to the human ear.
That comes around to my question, buddy.
He wrote 38 plays, and those came at different points of his life, and he became a much better playwright as he wrote, and you can see the confidence growing in his writing from his early plays like Comedy of Errors or Titus Andronicus to his later plays like The Winter's Tale and The Tempest. I just directed a production of The Winter's Tale, and it's one of the densest plays, but also one of the most textually rich plays. And so I think The Winter's Tale I would definitely list up there in my top 3. I also have a real fondness for Richard II.
Oh, that's a good one.
Because I love the idea of a man that absolutely believes in divine right, and then it's taken away from him, and he is completely rudderless and does not know what to do with himself.
Stripped of his
Absolutely.
beliefs.
I saw a great production of it with Kevin Spacey, directed by Trevor Nunn, when I was studying at RADA at the Old Vic Theater in London. But I think that Shakespeare's language it's all about, and a good director has to understand how to cut. No one, I guarantee you, no one here has ever seen a production of Shakespeare unedited, And that's one of the things I find problematic with the way that we force kids to read it in schools. I really think that a teacher needs to go through it and edit it because so many kids and so many people develop a frustration and a natural aversion to Shakespeare because they feel like I don't get it.
Yeah,
I don't
sure.
get it. It makes me feel
Too much.
dumb. And really good Shakespeare should make you feel quite the opposite. It should make you feel smart.
Right,
And
yeah.
make you feel like
Enriched.
and poetic and things of that nature. So
Yeah.
you have to cut it in such a way that you keep the poetry, but you really lose the truly antiquated stuff.
Right.
Because there's a lot of it.
Sure.
And it some of it needs to go.
You know what else is funny? The phrase "edit it" sounds like it needs an edit. Edit it.
Edited.
Too much "itted," you know?
Edit it.
Yeah.
I really, I think that's part of the reason that Shakespeare works so well in film, is because you have the room for editing in film. And some of my favorite interpretations of Shakespeare, I mean, Orson Welles, Othello, absolutely so crazy, so weird, and so ridiculous, but so Othello.
Yeah, did you see because your favorite is Macbeth.
Macbeth,
Did you
yeah,
see the Michael Fassbender
of
one?
course.
Right, and that's already one of his shortest plays. And that
Yeah.
movie was 90 minutes. And so much of that movie was silent. So I'm thinking as I'm watching it, I was like, we're probably getting maybe 33% of the text.
Well, do you
on
know
the
the
page.
Laurence
But it's still
Olivier,
excellent.
Macbeth? Is it Laurence Olivier Macbeth, or is it? No, it's Orson Welles, right? Orson
Welles is a famous production of Julius Caesar.
He does Julius Caesar, he does Othello, and I think he does Macbeth, which I don't believe was well received. But I feel like a lot of Shakespearean interpretations I've seen on film they're so fun because they bring you into it, and like you said, it should make you feel smart. It should make you feel really good.
Yeah.
It should make you feel like, whoa, this is like a really cool thing. And they have the opportunity for editing. and for someone to step in and just be like, okay, well, we're going to cut to this, you know, and then you kind of get the context. Reading theater and reading plays, like that's
reading theater is I think the job of a producer or a director or a playwright. It's really a garbage tool for education, and I'm very passionate about it. I've taught for 8 years, and it's you know, forcing kids to sit and read plays as if they're books is not the way to teach theater, and certainly is not doing anything for theater appreciation.
But there's got to be something in between, right? Because you can't ask kids to see a play every time, because you do kind of want to pause and rewind. And so could you bring in a couple of thespians to come into the classroom and kind of act out a scene and say, all right, let's wait right there. What was that line, kids? Did you get something from that? You know,
well, I think you I don't know that you need to bring someone in. You get the kids up, get the kids on their feet, and
oh, nice, yeah. Have
them direct one another.
Sure.
It doesn't have to be perfect, but it's going to be.
My son will direct. He loves to be in charge. He's the boss. He's always the coach.
Did you
or
just
the
nominate your son for this hypothetical situation?
I did.
Amazing.
He would totally do this. He doesn't want to play baseball. He wants to coach.
Cool.
He doesn't want to be in a play. He wants to direct. He's like the Mr. You know, I guess he kind of takes after me a little bit.
Wow,
the maestro.
Absolutely.
I don't know. But yeah, you're right. Kids, if they are, you know, forced into a situation where they have to get up and do it themselves, it's the best learning experience they can have.
Sure.
So I love that idea.
Yeah,
Mix it up.
Get them to be creative. You know, take a scene and have them rewrite it. You know, say put it in your own words. Now act it
At
out.
what age can kids understand more or less the poetic quality of Shakespeare?
2 weeks.
Reading age. I think they need to be able to read it themselves. I don't know.
Well, they definitely need to be the reading age. You know, my good friend Alex Yates, he teaches at Lusher Elementary School, and he teaches first graders, and they do Shakespeare.
Cool.
Wow, that's awesome.
But it's just about finding, you know, the palatable stuff, and then having the kids put it into their own words and get it on its feet and have fun with it. You know, the stories are wonderfully universal and very fun, and you know, they involve cross-dressing and mistaken identities,
Sure.
and all those things that we see in stories today. It's just, you know, it's slightly stylized language.
That's what we go to bed at night talking about.
Well, you know, I was
Cross-dressing.
you know, I was born in 1984, so you know, Hamlet, when I was a 10-year-old kid, Hamlet reverberated with me because that was you know, there was a story about revenge, about a fallen patriarch, and I knew Star Wars and The Lion King, you know what I mean?
Yes.
And these things, and that was really impactful. It was like, oh, this is a really cool story. This is a really
he's
awesome
an incredibly moody character.
It's really moody, you know, almost like this preteen. And I got pent up aggression towards my dad, and you know, and
Absolutely.
yeah.
Is that it, everybody? Closing thoughts? We got to get out of here pretty
one,
soon. Yeah.
just really quick. We talked about a lot, but film came up. You know, you talked about seeing films about plays. The Orpheum is able to show film. It was a movie house starting in the 40s.
That's awesome.
So when we brought it back, we put in a 4K DCP projector, and we can show major motion pictures. And we're going to unveil a summer film series, because where else do you want to go in the middle of the heat of summer, which, Micah, I know is your favorite,
Keep talking. Keep talking.
and sit
dark
and
and cold.
enjoy wonderful films. So I am going to allow each of you to tell me a film that you'd like to see.
Nice.
Oh my
And
God.
I am going to make it happen. So here's a little challenge. Maybe, because it's kind of hard to think of one film.
You know, the one that immediately comes to mind right now is 2001: A Space Odyssey.
Love it.
Yeah.
Manhattan.
Oh, so good.
You
so
know,
good.
because the Orpheum is also the orchestral home of the OPO,
And
there's
it's
nothing like a
Gershwin.
film
It's
that's
Gershwin.
entirely scored with Gershwin.
Oh, yeah,
I think
that's
that'd be a
so
good one.
awesome.
I love that.
Yeah. Oh,
Well done.
That is really good.
That's called collaboration.
Did you
ladies and
get both of those? Because
I've got
I'm a big fan
noted,
of both of those.
Noted, but
That's-
you get to have
Oh, do
one
I have
too.
one too?
Yeah.
I didn't think you were going to give me one.
Yeah. See? It's hard.
I'll tell you after we read these credits. How about that? Cue the music quick while I keep thinking. I wish it was on the tip of my tongue, Kristin, but it's just not. Let me come back to you on that. Well, that was Happy Hour, everybody. The producer of Happy Hour is Graham DePonte, associate producer and technical director Chris Kehoe, musical direction Christian Unruh. Theme music was written and is being played currently by Mitch Foreman, although it was recorded, so not playing it live. If you'd like to be on the show, drop us a line. Our address is on our website. Check out our other Happy Hour and other shows, Out to Lunch with Peter Raschuti, Live at Commander's Palace, True to the Game with Chris True, Midnight Menu +1 with Margot Moss, The Man Who Ate New Orleans, Ray Canada, Louisiana Eats with Poppy Tooker, and Milo Music Parlor with Kim Vu, and the podcast about death, Death the Podcast, with psychologist Dr. Arian Alfant. You can also find...
I'm going to be on that.
I love that. I love that.
That's a new one, I think. I don't think I've seen that one yet. You can also find other great Louisiana podcasts at itsacadiana.com and itsbatonrouge.la. Ooh, other options, y'all. Keep up with us on Facebook, Twitter, and a bunch of other time-sucking social media on all of itsneworleans.com. You can find photos from this show on itsneworleans.com and our Facebook page. The photos are taken today by Allison Moon. Thanks, Allison. If you're listening to this on iTunes, Stitcher, or another podcast apps, thanks for subscribing. Take a moment and rate and review us. Make sure it's like 5 out of 5 stars or something, and that'll help people find us. Recorded live today at Wayfair on Ferret Street, where they put fine dining into a sandwich and fine booze into a glass. Happy Hour is a production of INO Broadcasting for itsneworleans.com. Andrew Duhon. This says I'm Grant Morris, but Grant Morris is out today. I am Andrew Duhon. It's been a pleasure having you guys here. There was this short film that I saw as a kid that I can't get out of my head now that we're talking about films. And I can't remember what it was called. Oh, just like the guy who's the guitar player from the funeral. I'm
Next
spacing
radio
today.
show, we're not going to be here, but you
Next
are going to tell everyone.
It'll be
what you
a
remember.
chemical flashback, and I'll have both of those answers for you. Thanks, y'all.
Farmers Insurance knows that when you're in the car and that song comes on... No, not that one. Ah, yes, that's the one. You have no choice but to pull out your imaginary drumsticks and smash those cymbals and stomp on that kick pedal, which unfortunately is also known as the accelerator pedal. And we covered it. At Farmers, we know a thing or two because we've seen a thing or two. Click for more.
We are farmers. Bum, 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 bum.
Underwritten by Farmers Truck Fire Insurance Exchanges and Affiliates. Products not available in every state.